What's up, viewer? This your girl, Mary Lee Davis. I'm going to try to make this video as professional as possible with no profanity, just straight kicking the facts. And I want to give my viewers like you a different side of me because I'm a very serious person, especially when it comes to education and these kids out here in my city called Chicago. Now, I'm going to give you a small background about me. I grew up in various places, but I was born in Chicago. I'm one of those kids where you would call it takes a village to raise a child. That would be me. I was pretty much abandoned by my family at 2 months of age, and as a result, I ended up in various foster homes, group homes. I had a lot of behavioral problems stemming from the fact that I always wondered why my family abandoned me. I was like, wow, no one cared enough for me to take me in. And as I grew older, I realized I had other siblings, who were more together and not as displaced as I was. It was almost like me being the baby, I had to go through the most of troubles and traumas and things of that nature in order to reach the age I am now, and that's 46 years of age. Now, I went through a lot, abuse, sexually, mentally, emotionally, physical. It was real bad for me, okay? But at the same time, I wanted to educate myself as best as I knew how. But somewhere down the line, it seemed as though people were trying to stop me from becoming a knowledgeable person, an African American especially. You know, I always, try reading books and, asking questions. Even as an early child, I used to always ask a lot of questions. I used to listen to a lot of music, you know, you know, the music that had meaning to it and guidance, so I can grow up to be somewhat of a respectable person. Now, even though I had gone through a lot of those heartaches and pains, I knew education was very, very important. And, I tried to learn what the educational system tried to instill in, a teenager or whatever, adolescent such as myself at the time. But I wasn't getting it because I did not hear my story in the process. You know, I was like, you know, when do they talk about African Americans other than slavery and, fallen leaders and soldiers? All of it was pretty much just whitewashed stuff, you know, directed my way, and I couldn't relate to that. And I remember once I was leaving DCFS, that was an agency that would place me at various places, foster homes and group homes, all the way from 2 months of age to 18 when I was no longer a part of the program. And I remember asking my caseworker at the time, I said, well, what is it can I do now? And she told me literally at 18 years of age that she don't she ain't got no problem with that. I'm not her problem any longer. I'm on my own now. And the next time I saw my caseworker, I literally was on the streets of Chicago selling general merchandise to the public, probably making more money than she was a year at the time. And she ran into me I believe she came on purpose to see me for real, because she couldn't put it in her mind that what she was trying to do was lower my self-esteem, make me into whatever she thought she wanted me to be, because we never got along. But when she saw me, I was doing something positive, whereas she probably thought I was going to be doing something negative because of the words she tried to implant in my brain and my mind to make me a failure. And all I did was, hey, how you doing? Try to be respectable, because she was a older person that, they say you're supposed to look up to. Now, that's a little something about me. Everybody in Chicago knows, I've been selling general merchandise and had my own business, and, always in the community trying to give people deals and whatever. You know what I'm saying for real. So that's one part of my life. But this part of my life, where I'm at now, is trying to awaken the kids out here and let them know that there's a lot of people out there that really don't want you to make it. I went to the Bud Billiken parade yesterday. Okay, that's a back to school parade for those who don't know that's watching. That happens once a year. It was the 84th annual Bud Billiken parade in Chicago, and I must say it was nothing that the news said it was. There was at least 3 altercations going on as far as teenagers acting out. I did not try to stop any of it. So for all the ones who say, if she cared, why she didn't try to get involved? Because that's a tactic that the white man uses all the time in demonstrations when it comes to leaders. For real, they pay somebody to get some stuff started, hoping the leader come and try to, intervene, and then next thing you know, the leader gets shot. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not falling for that. They did that with Martin Luther King. If y'all know the Martin Luther King story, and they pushed Martin Luther King, and then they found the guys that pushed Martin Luther King, and they asked them, why did you push Martin? And they said they was paid to do it by, certain individuals or whatever and stuff. So, I'm hip to the game, but I was there nevertheless, and, y'all saw me. I always represent. I ain't going to leave you hanging, but just know I'm just one person, and I don't try to, throw myself into the lion's den if I can prevent it. So with that said, I was right across the street from the Defender's newspaper, where I figured it'd be less problems. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, it was about 3 different altercations. Not only that, the parade was so boring. The kids next to me was like, wow, this is the worst parade, since they've been coming. And the older folks was saying the same thing. And I went 3 times in a row, and I've got nothing out of it except a t-shirt. I try to make sure I get a t-shirt, at least. You understand what I'm saying? So I can represent for the kids and let them know, look, I'm here for you if ain't nobody else here for you. And this is how the shirt looked this year. And then it's got the X generation on the back, So I want to say big ups to the guy that gave me the shirt, because, I literally thought they wasn't going to give it to me at first, and it was the Chicago Public School float that was going by with the shirt on it. And I'm like, man, I know y'all going to give me one of them shirts. And then the guy, the black African-American guy with a smile on his face, got the shirt and brought it back to me. And I know that took a lot of courage for you to do, because people know who I am. I'm a very controversial person, not trying to agitate anyone or ruffle any feathers, but at the same time, I have to, I have to do my part, which is make myself present, so people will know that I am serious about this educational business concerning my kids in the city of Chicago. I call y'all my kids because you are. You're just like me. You're crying out for help and getting very little of it at the same time. I got to say this as well. You know, them little kids out there was wearing so much makeup. I'm talking 3, 4, 5-year-olds and stuff. I felt like it was a pedophile parade, to tell you the truth, because that song Blurred Lines, yeah, they played it at least 7, 8 times, and everybody knows that's not a good song for real. If you really pay attention and they break it down for real, it's a freakish song, and they played it so much to the point where, you know, and to put it with the kids look too grown for their age. And one group went by, I had to say it. I said, man, why don't y'all put some clothes on these girls and stuff? And the lady running the group, she got, you know, mad and was like, they all A students and stuff. I said, I wouldn't be able to tell by the way they dress. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to dress inappropriately for people to recognize your mind. All you have to do is open up your mouth, and people will know how educated you are. You know, I don't claim to be the best speaker or highly astute person, but when it comes down to it, I can hang with the best of them. You know, so I go this way one day, I go that way another day, and I come straight forward when it comes, you know, to these high-class society, scholar type, you know, so-called educated leaders we have. You know, the ones with all the PhDs, this, that, and the other, whatever. You know, I also like to dedicate a little portion of this video to a guy who was standing next to me. He said, my daughter's in the parade, and I want to hang around, you know, and make sure she sees me. And, you know, I do my fatherly duties. And I was like, okay. I wanted to see how long he was going to hang, you know, because I was in the same spot until it was over. So that was about 4 hours. So he hung until he saw her. And, you know, it was about 2 hours into the parade. And he made sure that she got his attention, you know, and she was so happy. She was so happy. You know, it seemed like a burst of energy came over her, and, you know, she did her little thing, and he was like, okay, I did my fatherly duties. I can leave now until, you know, I catch up with her again. That made me feel good. A person who never had a father for real, you know, it shows you that the kids don't want much, just a little something. You know, I also like to say to the man, I'm gonna call you a man. It was an older man on a float DJing, and it was a blues song. Hey, hey, the blues is all right. And I was like, we don't need any more blues, for real. And he got offended by that. And of course, he took over the conversation because he had the mic. So when I saw what he was trying to do, I gave him the finger. You understand what I'm saying? Because me saying that shouldn't have offended him, because he went all off into left field. See, that's why you need to stay in school, young man. Knowing Chicago, everybody in Chicago knows I ain't no man. I ain't trying to be no man. I am a female, a woman, a young lady, and I will respect my elders if they respect me. But he went all off because he had the mic. So, you know, I let the man go off, and the float kept on going by. But it's you older people, the older generation, who don't want to allow the younger generation to succeed and definitely pass you up in your legacy. And that's what's holding these kids back. And the kids, they feel the tension to the point whereas, you know, they are frustrated and they don't know what to do. But this is what I tell you, babies. Stay in school. Get your degree or diploma, and, you know, buy something for yourself when it's over with. This is my little graduation teddy bear that I bought for myself. You know, sometimes you got to pat yourself on the back and don't worry about nobody else, because they will hold you back before they push you forward, and that's for real. One love, baby. Stay in school. I'm here for you. Don't forget that, okay? This is Mary Lee Davis, a.k.a. Maere-Mak, signing off with no cursing. Bye.